Afternoon, everybody. Jeff from Rust Bucket Valley Garage. Happy that you're here. I'd like to talk to you about repairing plastic bumpers, both front and rear on the vehicle. So you ask yourself, why would you want to take and repair them versus replace them? Okay, the prices of the bumpers are not really prohibitive. Cheapest one I've seen is about 180 bucks, and they run up to several hundred. The only problem is the part may not be available. So we work on a lot of new cars here, and we had one car come in a couple of months ago, and it was a 2022, and we needed a front bumper because there was a collision damage on it. And so we did all the metal work and everything, and we find out the front bumper is not available. So it had a dent in it and it had a tear in it. So we had to replace that, and we got some real good results from that. Let me kind of go through some of the processes that we use. This is a section of a Ford front bumper. And one thing that is unusual about some of the Ford bumpers is this right here. Okay, you'll see that the color goes all the way through. It's a white bumper. That is not true with all of the bumpers. Generally, the bumpers are either gray or black, and which will kind of indicate they're made out of a different kind of material. They all repair the same. We use the same materials on all of them. On this one right here, later on, I'll show you that we're just taking a section of the bumper, and what we did with the other portion of the bumper is we cut some very thin strips out of here, and I'll show you how we use those later on. Let's go into some of the kind of defects that we get with these. We've had them where in this area here there'll be a big dent. Okay, actually in the plastic. Plastic will be pushed in. It actually stretches the material, and you want to take and bring that out. You cannot use regular metalworking technologies to take and work on plastic. What we have done with very good results is we have an industrial hair dryer. This puppy here puts out about 1500 watts, and the power level is selectable. So we can heat it up and cool it down using this. We'll go ahead and heat up this side here where the dent is punched in. And then as soon as we get the material kind of in a pliable state, we'll take a wad of shop rags and we'll go on the back and very gently take and press that. And then we'll cool the surface of this, okay, and let it kind of go back into shape. And we've had some very good results with that. And then if the paint isn't damaged, we can just go ahead and go with that, or we can prime it and sand it and fill it and all that kind of good stuff, just like we would a regular body panel. You cannot use Bondo polyester filler on bumpers. They do have a special filler that you can take and use on plastic bumpers. This is a material that you use. This is called Polyflex. It smells exactly like Bondo does, but it's a different color, where Bondo is kind of a gray, and then the catalyst that you put in there is red or blue that we've gotten. And then this one right here, the hardener is green, and then when it dries white. So this, you still have to take, and if you have a damaged area on here, you still have to take and scuff it up just a little bit with very fine sandpaper, and give the filler someplace to take and grab into. And then you'd go ahead and put a thin skim coat of this on there, and then use some very fine sandpaper, and you can take and wet sand that to the profile and then prime it and paint it. when you have things that are a lot worse, and say like you had a split through here, okay, we're going to, today we're going to take and manufacture damage on this piece of a bumper section, and we're going to show you how to repair that. Okay, so we're going to go manufacture some damage on this. I think what we're going to do is right here, we're just going to take and run it through the shop bandsaw just a little bit to get a nice gap in there that has to be repaired. Okay, and so let's go do that, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so what we've done is we ran this through the shop bandsaw, and we got something that would be typical of something that you would find on a damaged bumper. There is a little bit of difference in this damage, is that when we take and line this up, we're going to put a clamp on this edge here to keep this gap here compliant, because we know the blade on the bandsaw is about 1/16 of an inch, so we want to keep this 1/16 of an inch in here. If you had regular damage that was on a regular plastic bumper, you would not want to take and maintain that gap. You'd want to take and close it up as tight as you possibly can. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take and stabilize this. And how we're going to stabilize this is we're going to be working on the back of it. So we're going to take and go ahead and clean this up and clean all the dirt off of here, because we want a clean working surface. And then I'll show you how to do that. There's a tool that we're going to be using, and I'll show you that right now. Okay, the tool that we're going to be using today comes in the kit form, and it's from our friends at Amazon, not a sponsor, but they have a couple of different plastic repair kits that you can use. So the advantage of trying to take and repair this bumper is that a bumper is going to run you, well, $180 up, and that's if you can get one. This kit right here was $35. Okay, let me show you what's inside the kit. Okay, you have the main tool. Okay, they give you a pair of cutting pliers, and you'll see how that's used. Okay, and they give you a mat knife. Okay, these are the important parts right here. Okay, these are different types of wire staples, and they're different configurations and shapes. Okay, and these would be used for the different configurations that you'd need them for. Okay, on this one right here, we're going to use the wave staple, and we're going to take and put that into the tool. And so we went ahead and pulled one of the staples out. Okay, this right here is what it looks like. This is probably made out of some nickel chromium alloy. It's the same kind of stuff that the heating element in your toaster is made out of. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll load that into the gun, and then I'll show you how we can take and stabilize this this damage in here and start the repair. Okay, so we have our damage stabilized. We're using a vice grip on the edge to take and line the edges up, so we made sure that everything's all even. We've got it on the other side, and we run our finger across here, and we make sure everything is all nice and smooth. Okay, and we're doing real good so far. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take and stabilize the brake. So what we've done is we have a paper towel over to our left here. This is off camera, that has our little pieces that we're going to be welding in here, and they're going to be just like that. Okay, and we're going to use about 6 or 7 of them to take and stabilize this. If you're just starting out using the gun, okay, you have to be careful, because this thing gets hot very, very quickly, okay, and it will burn all the way through your plastic, and then you'll have more to repair. So what you want to do is you insert the piece into your gun, and you hold it across your break in your plastic, and then there will be a light that comes on, and you just want to have that just go below the surface. You keep it on there for a few seconds, okay? Then go ahead and pull that off, and you will be left with two tabs here, okay? And you can see on the other side that we went to the perfect depth, okay? So that part is about right here, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to take and load up another one of these. Okay, and when you're loading them up, keep your finger off the trigger, because you turn that on, you're going to get burned. Okay, when you're stabilizing the joint, you make sure that you have this, the panel that you're working on a smooth surface. Okay, and it just takes like that long. Okay, let it harden up. Need to pull that off. Okay, and see. So we have another one about right there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and load up another one. Okay, this is basically in the end of here. It's just two hollowed out areas with a place for the pin to go, and you just go ahead and stick the thing in there, and it will take and it's kind of like cone shaped on the end, and it will take and just drop right down in there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get our third one in position. Okay, and we're letting that one cool down. We just pull it off. Okay, so we have another one right there. Load another one in there. Okay, since we have a lip right here that kind of swoops, okay, you have to hold the panel at a little bit of an angle. Okay, so now we're back on the flat surface again. So we'll go ahead and turn that on. Okay, letting that one cool down and pull it off. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put about 3 more in here, and then 1 in the edge, and then we're going to take the pair of pliers that the cutting pliers that came with the kit, and there's still these pins that are sticking up, and we're going to take and cut those off flat. Okay, and then we're going to clean the other side, and then I'll show you how to take and get rid of the crack for good on that. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our pins all cut to level. Okay, this is going to be on the inside of the bumper. You don't really have to take and do anything more with this. Okay, so we used 6 on the bottom, and then we went ahead and put one in the edge, okay, to take and stabilize the edge. And we're looking at our work, and looks pretty good, no burn throughs. Okay, so we're in good shape so far. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean this off, and then I'll show you what happens next. Okay, so to continue with our repair, now what we're going to do is we are going to take and weld this up. Okay, plastic welding is a little bit different. We have a 80-watt iron that we're going to be using. Okay, and this is another kit from Amazon, and this is that's a part number on it. If you need that, 020345, and it's made by Joan Jip, Chinese company. Okay, never used their stuff before, don't know how it's going to work, but we shall give it a shot. One thing I really like about this kit is that they give you different type of tips that you can use. This screws into the iron itself and takes a couple of minutes to heat up, and then you can go back and you can really take and smooth out your welded material. Okay, and they have another one. It's a little bit different shape. This one's kind of curved. Okay. They also have one here that you can take. They give you this plastic material, very, very thin, that you can use for welding up things like this. However, this would be very good for black or gray bumpers, and unfortunately they do not take and give you any white. So that is a reason that we went ahead and cut these off of the other bumper. So what we're going to do is we are going to take and use these as welding material, okay, to take and weld this up. Okay, so we are just going to be using a regular flat tip, okay, and we're going to put this in the gun and heat it up, and then let me show you the other two tips that they give you. So what's really nice is they give you these other two tips, and there's actually a hole in the bottom, and they give you this plastic material, and you can take and stick that in a hole here, and it automatically feeds out through the bottom. You can take and go in there, and you can, as you take and move forward, you can push the material down through there and just weld a constant stream, you know, right down here, just like in a puddle with regular welding. However, we can't use the black one, so we're going to take and use these. So we have just a regular flat tip. This is a smoothing tip that we are going to take and use to take and create our weld on here. Okay, this is only an 80-watt iron, so we're going to have to take and try this out. What we are going to do is we are going to reinforce the back of this a little bit. Take a sandbag or something and put it underneath there, because when you heat this area, you're going to press down on it, and then you're going to wind up with a surface that's going to look like that. Okay, so we're going to get that set up. We're going to get our iron hot, and then we'll start welding that up. So as you can see, we started down here at the edge, and we started melting the material into the area that we want to repair, and we're just making a wide puddle down there right now. We're just filling up the crack. And the color is a perfect match to what we were using. Okay, you don't want to keep the iron on there too long because it is hot. What we're doing is we're leaving the weld a little bit high so that we can take and like machine it a little bit, and we can take and, since this is a flattening iron, we can take and flatten that out. And we're just moving in a very steady path the way across here, not spending too much time in one place. I'm just using the very tip of the triangular bit that is in here. And the piece that we cut from the other bumper, we're holding that down is as close to the surface as we can. And just moving right across. This is actually coming out very nicely. So what we found is an old welder's coat in the shop, and we use that to take and bolster the panel underneath, so there won't be any warpage. So we rolled that up and made it so the panel will fit over it. Okay, still moving across here, just got a little ways to go. Okay. Now we have to do, since we have a high place on here, we're just going to very gently smooth this out. If there are any low spots, you just go ahead, go back, add a little bit more material to them. You want to make sure you keep your crowns, because there's a crown that runs right here. So you want to come up like this, and then you want to go down off of it. Okay. Okay, I'm just smoothing it all out. Just a little low area right here. I'm going to put just a little more material in there. Okay. So this is where the artistry really comes in. Says you want this nice and flat. And use a back and forth motion. Make sure you get that crack filled up. You don't want to spend a lot of time in one place. All right. It's coming out very nicely. Okay. You want to give areas that you're working on enough time to cool down. So if you go and hit them with the iron again, there is a chance that you'll disturb the prior layer that you put down. Okay. All right. This is actually pretty nice. Okay. So what you will do after this is you'll go ahead and you'll sand this whole area off, okay, because it's a little bit high. Of course, you'll let it cool down, and then you'll come back with the plastic filler, and you'll go ahead and just feather that out to about right here on both sides, okay, and do this little area here. And then a little bit of primer, a little bit of paint, fix it right up. So you just saved yourself a bumper. Okay, so yeah, this is still pretty hot. This is let's come back when we have our when this is cooled down, and then when we have the first coat of filler under. So as you can see here, we have everything pretty level, okay? We have a couple little low spots, but we sanded this with some fine sandpaper, and this actually came out pretty well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a glaze coat on there. And we'll be using the Polyflex. We don't really have to take and mix up too much, and we'll just put a skim coat on there, and let's go ahead and do that. So we have about that much of the Polyflex, and then we'll go ahead and mix that up, and then we'll start taking and skim coating that. So you want to go ahead and mix this up very well and make sure all the material, because we mix it up at the corner, and make sure all the material on your spatula is mixed as well. Okay, so Let's go back there. Put a very thin coat on there. Not too much at all. And we want to make sure that we take and feather that out. Okay. And that there aren't any pinholes in there. All right. So we got a pretty good coat on the area there. It's pretty smooth. That'll actually be hard in about 15 minutes. That we can take and sand that off and prime it and paint it. So normal body finishing protocols take over right now, where we use fine sandpaper and we'll go ahead and sand this off and then feather the edges and watch out for this ridge right here. Gotta have that. Then go ahead and just feather this out right here too. And don't forget to take and do the bottom so there's no evidence of the repair at all. And primer and paint it, and then you're finished. Go ahead and let it dry, install it back on the vehicle, and you save your customer a new bumper, and they will be appreciative of you. Okay, hope I have given you some very good information on how to take and repair different things on plastic bumpers. And go ahead and give it a try. I mean, the materials are not that expensive. The tools that you need to take and work on this stuff, the staple gun that you use for stabilizing the joint or the brake is about $35. Soldering iron or the plastic welding iron is about the same, and both available on Amazon. So yeah, go ahead and give it a shot. What I would suggest you do is that when you are using the staples that are on here, until you get the feel of how long it takes to get these just below the surface, try it on a scrap piece, okay? Because the thing is, you can burn through real easy. And what you'll do is just cause yourself, extra work. So if on the outside chance that you do happen to burn through, and on this side right here, you can actually see one of the staples showing through, use a needle nose pair of pliers and go ahead and just pull that all the way through, and then go just to the side of it. Okay, like if you had one right here and you happen to take and burn it through, just move it over about 1/8 of an inch and go ahead and try it again, okay? Because the thing is, on the finishing operation on this side right here, you will go ahead and you will cover that anyway. So anyway, go for it. What do you got to lose? Okay, thanks for stopping by this time. Really appreciate all your comments, really all your subscriptions. So they let you know when I do something new. And thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. See you next time.